Hey folks, Gary here. How many of you have ever come across something that changes your mind? In other words, you wholeheartedly believed in a theory or a thought or something like that, and then you come across the truth and you go, wow, all my conclusions were wrong before. That can be life-changing. And it can be quite freeing because now you can actually do things the correct way, whatever it might be. Maybe something at work or whatever. But that can be really quite freeing. But it can also be quite threatening because sometimes when you come across the truth, it threatens the whole system that you're working in. Well, Nicodemus was like that. And we read about that in John 3, 1 and 2. And Nicodemus comes across the truth that threatens the system that he's in. Let's just read it. It says this. There was a man named Nicodemus who was a Pharisee and a Jewish leader. One night he came to Jesus and said, now one night, that's a key thing of this passage of scripture, and you've probably heard about it before, but one night, in other words, he's coming in the night, he's coming in the darkness so that no one sees him going to Jesus because that would be a threat to his position. So he needs to do it secretly. But he comes to Jesus and said, Sir, we know, that's a real key thing right there, we know that God has sent you to teach us. You could not work these miracles unless God were with you. We know that God has sent you. We know that God is using you. And yet they still opposed Jesus on everything and were fighting against him all the way up to having him crucified on the cross. Not Nicodemus, but the rest of them. But they knew that God had sent them. When we face a truth, when we read scripture and God illuminates to us something that maybe we didn't see before, maybe something about ourselves, something about our own character, something that we need to change, you have a choice. You can either go, wow, I need to change that and let God do that and then be free from that and live a life that's going to be a lot better. Or you can double down and say, no, I'm going to fight against that. Don't fight against God. You never win when you fight against God. Instead, thank him for the revelation and say, Lord, that is so cool. So there we go. John 3, verses 1 and 2.